Jorge Masvidal fights Ben Askren at UFC 239. This is the battle camp. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll find it in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. I'd say this is the fight that I'm looking forward to the most, simply because I'm interested in both of these guys' personality outside the cage. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a massive Jorge Masvidal fan. I'm not a huge Ben Askren fan, but I am interested in the kind of stuff that he says. I'm interested in his point of view. I'm interested in his outlook. I'm interested in the way that he conducts himself. And because I'm interested in both the guys, usually when I'm interested in two fighters, I want to see them fight, especially when they're fighting each other. This is the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. Also, I'd say this. When it comes to this particular fight, Masvidal, for me, is a gifted mixed martial artist. If you had to list out all the attributes you need to be a mixed martial artist, I'd say Masvidal is better than Ben Askren at 80% of those. It's just that 20% that Ben Askren is better at, he's one of the best in the world ever. Do you know what I mean? So Ben Askren's strengths are so much bigger in that area than Masvidal's on paper, that it feels like it'll be a tough task for Masvidal to win this fight. I was looking back at the Damian Maia fight, not watching it, but just kind of thinking about it, remembering it. And the way I remember Masvidal struggling in that fight, for me, it doesn't make for an optimistic outcome for Masvidal against Askren, because I feel like Askren's better than Damian Maia at the things that he was struggling at. Now, to counter this, Masvidal, I watched an interview of Masvidal's, and what he said was, when he fought Damian Maia, he was so scared of getting submitted because Maia is so good at finding submissions that he was ultra defensive, and he wasn't able to do the same sort of movements he would do against other fighters to get off the ground. He feels like Ben Askren isn't as good as Maia at the submission game, so he'll be able to find opportunities to get off his back because he won't be so concerned about, defending his neck or, other limbs that Maia's able to use to get a submission. So that's his outlook. I'm not so sure I 100% agree with what he's saying, but that's what he said. That if you look at Ben Askren, like, I had heard so much, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't really seen much of him fight. I'd seen highlights of him, I'd seen him on YouTube, but I'd never really seen a huge variety of his fights against a different variety of opponents. I'd heard so much about him from Joe Rogan before he made his UFC debut, and all this stuff about his grip, his hands, how strong he is, and how he's able to manipulate the bodies of his opponents. And then he came and made his debut against Lawler, and he damn near lost that fight. That wasn't a convincing, that wasn't a good performance from Ben Askren's point of view. It made him look human. So the image and the idea I had of Ben Askren in my head, he didn't live up to that in that fight. And I suppose that's a little kind of what's the right word? There's a little piece of hope for Masvidal in that. And I suppose one other thing that I didn't know about Ben Askren that I did see in that Robbie Lawler fight, and it might be just because he got concussed and rocked, his stand-up, I mean, I knew his strengths were grappling and wrestling, but his stand-up was shockingly bad. And that's an area where Masvidal, like, where there's a gap between Masvidal and Ben Askren's wrestling, it's the same gap between Ben Askren and Masvidal striking. So I suppose if Masvidal's going to win this fight, he's going to have to be able to keep Ben Askren at distance. He's going to have to be able to hurt Ben Askren when Ben Askren does try and shoot him for a takedown. He's going to have to make Ben Askren respect him, and then he's going to have to make Ben Askren get sloppy and try and shoot for takedowns from distances that are too far to cover, and just make him look bad, basically, and keep on the outside and keep moving and stay away from Ben Askren's fucking greasy palms. I don't know. I don't think Masvidal can do it, unfortunately. I want Masvidal to win. Like I said, I want Masvidal to win. I've been following his career since I saw him fight in Strikeforce. I think he's a very, very good fighter, and I just like him as a person. I like the way he comes across. I like the shit that he talks. I genuinely just like the guy, so I want him to win. but I can't see it happening. I think Ben Askren is going to win this fight. I think he's going to grab a hold of Masvidal in each of the 3 rounds, and he's just going to lie on top of him, unfortunately. I think that's how the fight's going to play out, and I wish I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just the way I see it. I have to be realistic, and I have to be honest. Should get the old odds up, and the odds, I didn't look at these before I made this video, and Ben Askren is a 5-2 odds on favourite, and Masvidal's 15-8 underdog. So the odds reflect what I'm saying, but I think Masvidal can take some confidence from Ben Askren's performance against Robbie Lawler. Another thing that I've noticed about Masvidal in the Darren Till fight was the first time I actually saw his body look like a welterweight. Prior to that, he looked a bit chubby around the belly, around the hips, around the back. He just looked like a lightweight that just didn't want to cut weight anymore. Against Darren Till, that was the first time I saw him look like a welterweight. And while we're on the subject of the Till fight, he can take a lot of confidence from that fight, because he came into the UK and he fought a guy he was supposed to lose to, and he beat him at his own game. He didn't have to take him down and just, out wrestle him. He knocked him the fuck out. Now, I'm not saying that he should, he should take so much confidence from that performance and try and out wrestle Ben Askren, but he mustn't forget just who he is and how good he is. He shouldn't go into this fight so scared of Ben Askren and his wrestling that he forgets what his strengths are, and he forgets how good his offenses are, and he should try and rely on his own skills, but be mindful of Ben Askren at the same time. I just don't think he'll be able to execute it, unfortunately, and I hope he proves me wrong. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen in this fight? Please comment below. And like I said, I'm not no genius. I'm not an actual pundit. I can't break fights down technically. I'm just telling you what I feel about the fight. So if you have an opinion that is different to mine, please share it, because I want to learn. In fact, when I made my Francis Ngannou JDS video, I can't remember the guy's name, but someone put a comment in that video, and the way he wrote it so eloquently, I just responded to him, "Are you Joe Rogan in disguise?" Because what he said made so much sense, and it was different to the opinion that I had in my video. So if you have an opinion, please share it below. I love reading and responding to people's comments. Don't forget to hit the like button and share this with a friend if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll get you guys on the next one.